Hi everyone. Today is Sunday, April 22nd, and I'm currently doing this filming from the Global Economic North in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. Um, I'm not sure what to call this video. I think it's going to be a series, part of a series of videos. Um, that I'm going to be doing about this particular text in relation to Black women's literature. Now, a couple years ago, I came across a comment on one of my YouTube videos, and this person said to me, "Why don't you do literature reviews?" And I thought to myself, that's really interesting. I'd really like to do that, but there's always this but one of the things that I was thinking about was, how am I going to make a living at this, right? So, um, I've been watching some YouTube videos about how to locate your passion and how to sort of reinvent yourself, and not reinvent yourself, but how to find your passion. And I came across this one video that said, I can't remember the name of the person, I apologize, but she was saying, be the designer of your life. And I thought to myself, that's really interesting, because I've never really sat down and said to myself, what do I want to accomplish of my life? Let me do like a projectile of like what I plan to do within the next 80 years. And 80 to 100 years. And so I've been just going through this phase for the last couple of years, just trying to figure out what is it that I want to do to just make sure that I'm happy, because I've been watching some YouTube videos about finding your passion and doing work that you love. And I am not of the persuasion that you're supposed to waste 8 hours a day or 10 hours a day or 12 hours a day being unhappy. Physically, I don't think that's very healthy. Emotionally, I don't think that's very healthy. And intellectually, I think that's very stifling. So, I just been taking some time to figure out what it is I want to do, and I'm going to explore some different options. I really like stuff related to media arts, like film, television, literature. I don't know what you would call that, cultural arts or cultural stuff, or I don't know what you would call all that, but I have this thing for books, and I was going through, I have this, like a big tub at home, um, filled with books. And I said to myself, I haven't really been reading these books, but I should revisit them. So I'm just at a point in my life where I just need some meaning and purpose, and I need to be doing something where I can pay my bills, but also not live a life where that's all I do is just pay bills. So I came across this one book in my treasure chest, my book treasure chest at home, and it's called, sorry, here it is, called The Black Woman, an Anthology by Toni, Cade, Bambara. Now, I may be pronouncing her name incorrectly, but one thing I want people to know is that growing up in a Western Canada demographic, um, I grew up around a lot of Anglo-Saxon people, white people, and there was no cultural diversity, there was nothing, and I was really sick and tired of seeing white everywhere. So even in going to school, everything was very white-centric, very Eurocentric, and I lived in a community where there was a population of First Nations people, Indigenous people in Canada, but not even their stuff was integrated into the curriculum. So, needless to say, I grew up with a lot of questions around where am I, where is my identity, and I can't really blame my mother for anything, because now that I understand how society is constructed and the effects from slavery and, economic discrimination, my mom was just out there just surviving and trying to take care of her kids. And I decided that I don't want to live a life like that where you're always working and you have no time for self. And so I came across this book and I said, I've had this book for quite a while. I got this book when I was at university. I went into this resource center for women, and I was surprised that they had black literature, and I was like, wow, this is great. Like, this is what I've been looking for, because in the Canadian context, we are not exposed to black literature, especially growing up in Western Canada. And what's really interesting was I was watching this documentary produced by CBC about being black in Canada, and I was really disappointed with it. I think that the interest was there to produce something that says something about the black experience, but you could see that the documentary was very, very slanted to be produced in a way as not to offend white people. And I said to myself, I'm sick and tired of that. Like, I'm sick and tired of, being apologetic. I've never been apologetic, but seeing this very careful walking of just doing things and being very careful. And I said, that's not me. You have to be truthful in what you do. And if the truth hurts, and you have to deal with your guilt. So I came across this book and I was like, wow, this is really interesting. I need something to inspire me, because when I was in university, that's when I was exposed to black women's literature and black feminism, and it really changed my life because it gave me an outlet to be able to make sense of idiosyncrasies, or just the problems that I was encountering in my own life. And so I don't know who Toni Cade Bambara is, but I'm going to educate myself about her. I'm hoping she's a black woman, because I really don't like these people that put out these pieces that are telling us what to do but have never ever walked in our shoes. And I'm very careful of what I buy when it comes to books, because I always research who the author is. I look at a picture of them, and then I make my determination after that. So this book called The Black Woman, I really like the book cover, because I was like, you know what? This is a woman who's very natural, and you know what? She seems like she's just really rooted in her authenticity. And just looking through this, and I was like, wow, Black Woman and Anthology. What is this about? So, I'm actually going to do a YouTube video series about this text, and just share some of the thoughts and feelings that I've experienced while reading this text. Now, I don't like to sugarcoat things. I don't like to come across as trying to sound like I'm manicured, but I think it's really important to be authentic in your thoughts and authentic in your life. And I want to do a book review and I think I want to develop that skill to review more books and review books that I find interesting and not necessarily what Sally Blondehead says are the 10 best books to get for the year. So, on that note, I just wanted to say thank you for watching my videos. I think I'm gonna call this one Black Women's Literature Review or Book Review, something like that. And Toni, Cade, Bambara. I'd like to read her stuff. And one thing I want to say that I've noticed about Black women writers from the United States, I love their work because they're very authentic, and they talk about stuff that I can relate to. And like I said, growing up in racist Canada, I was just like, I didn't know what racism was, but I knew something was wrong with the way these people were situated strategically in different places and how certain people get ahead and other people would not get ahead. So I'm gonna do, I think, more YouTube videos about what it is we can do to recenter ourselves. And I'm not going to go with what mainstream says. I'm just going to do my own thing and share my ideas. And if you have any comments or feedback, you don't have to say something to make me feel good about the video. I'm very willing and open to constructive criticism. So, I think there really needs to be more exploration on my part of Black women's literature, and what I really like about Black women's literature in the United States is that they like to reference I'm sorry, I'm just watching this dog and I'm like, you know what, dog, don't come over here. Sorry. Yeah, and the owner is like how many feet away. So, what was I gonna say? I'm gonna do more book reviews on Black women's literature and Black literature from the United States. I find it's very helpful. And to provide an outlet to be able to make sense of things, because I do go through a lot of prejudice and discrimination in Canada. I go through a lot of economic discrimination. I'm an educated person, whatever that means. And, I have a lot of problems just trying to get ahead and pursue my dreams. So, I find that the Black literature in the United States written from Black females' perspective that are Black feminist oriented, they always make reference to other pieces of literature, and I really, really like that. So, other literatures that you can read and make sense of this experience. So, I thank Black women in the United States, Black feminists, Black female writers in the United States for putting out that literature, because it's tough when you're trying to make sense of situations and you have nothing, no perspective, nothing to go off. So, on that note, thank you for watching my videos, and if you have any comments, just leave them in the space below my video, and I'll get back to you when I have the opportunity. Not to say that I won't, but I just find that I get a lot of really good video comments, and I think it's time for me to start reviewing what direction I can take from doing different videos. Thank you for watching this video, and have yourself a good morning, a good afternoon, or evening, wherever you are in the world. Signing off, live in Kitten.